So, welcome to the podcast and to our YouTube channel, Mr. Chris Gray. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm grand, thanks. For yourself?
Oh, the best, aye. Now, whenever we're recording this, it's early on a Sunday morning. What else would you be doing on a Sunday morning at this time, Chris?
Well, it's different most weeks, so grand to be up early on a Sunday and chat with yourself. All good.
That's it indeed, mate. Now, the reason why we're chatting to you could be for any amount of different reasons. You've been quite a busy character over all of this global pandemic nonsense. How have you found being in lockdown and all of that this last while?
Yeah, I mean, it's very challenging for everyone, particularly musicians. So it's for me, it's always been about trying to find some different ways to, keep occupied, and all those sorts of things. So, I mean, musically, of course, everyone would love to be out hearing events and doing that sort of thing. But it's for me, I've been trying to do other things as much as I can. So I've been writing some different pieces of music for different projects and teaching online as well. So I mean, that's been nice to engage with people when we've obviously not had that so much. So yeah, there's always so many things to work on personally with music. So yeah, just been doing that really.
Just chipping away and doing what you can, Chris. So for those folks out there who don't know who Chris Gray is, I don't know where you've been. You've maybe been living under a stone somewhere. But Chris, do you want to explain to folks that you're kind of a multi-instrumentalist? You're a bagpiper, whistle player, keyboard player. Do you want to tell folks about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm originally from Walkerby in Dumfries and Galway, and I moved to Glasgow, it was about 6, 7 years ago to study at the conservatoire. So I did my degree there, traditional music. My first instrument when I was really young was the pipes. So I took that up and I was really involved with that mainly. But then later taking up the piano and whistle, and throughout that time as well starting to write a lot of my own music. So yeah, that's led me to now have my career in music and doing various things with my own music, and then also working with different people, different projects. Yeah, so I love playing lots of different kinds of music, but I would say predominantly known for trad or folk music, and that's what I've mostly been up to, yeah.
That's it. But you're also involved with a little known band known as Inverarian District as well. You could drop that in there as well in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I've had the joy of playing with them since I joined the end of 2011, and have been a member of them since. And yeah, it's been quite incredible just being a part of that all and seeing it even from that stage. The band, prior to that, I'd followed the band, obviously, but I'd watched the band and wanted to be a part of that. So even from that stage, the band was obviously already in grade one, but then it's evolved a lot since then, and lots of great experiences. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. But if anything, I wanted to chat to you about all the interesting projects and that you've been involved outside of Inverary, because you're an interesting character because you have best of both worlds. You're involved in the competitive piping scene, but you're also involved in the creative piping scene in the Celtic music world as well. Now, how do you find the two worlds kind of intermingle?
Well, there's certainly a lot of similarities and differences, of course. From a personal point of view, I just really enjoy being creative and creating new music and interacting with people and seeing people enjoy that. So that's such a big thing for me. So that's perhaps why I had such an interest in taking up, piano and whistle and seeing where I could take that as well as my piping. So yeah, it's just very different platforms. But for me, I'm always thinking about the music, and even in the competitive arena, I'm thinking about the musical perspective as much as possible. That's the main incentive always. So
Definitely, yeah, and there you go. And it shines through with some of Inverarity's performances and some of your own performances, Chris, as well. So I want to talk about, well, first of all, your album, your new album, Chris Gray, as it's self-titled, has been nominated for the Scots Trad Music Awards. What about that?
yeah, so delighted to hear that, and that album's been a bit of a project that's been on for a while for me. It's all my own material, and I've been writing tunes for quite a few years. So gathered that all together, and had a lot of amazing people involved to create that. But yeah, my goal there is again to create something fresh and kind of original to me. And like I was saying there before, just being creative and creating some new sounds. So yeah, delighted that came out in January, and I was launched that at Celtic Connections. Very fortunate, I have to say, after everything that's happened, that happened before everything that's kicked off the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So that was actually probably the last main show I did before everything. So yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Well, if anything, thankfully, we do have some actual video footage of you on stage doing your thing. Now, the first track actually I want to play on the show and here on our YouTube channel is a track called High Voltage. And there's a familiar face joining me on stage with this one.
Yeah, so this track was intended to be, as the title suggests, just really high energy. And my idea behind it was to see if I could combine Highland Pipes with concertina. That was one of the main ideas, just to explore something different there. So like some of the tracks on the album have developed as I went, but some of them also had kind of concepts from the start. And that's one that I had for that one. So yeah, that was fun to do that.
Fantastic stuff. Well, if anything, I think you might recognize this familiar face from Talisk. Joining Chris on stage with High Voltage. Here's a wee clip of it now. Chris, that's absolutely amazing. I've watched that clip now a bunch of times, but before this interview, can you tell us what was it like on stage on the night then?
It was such a buzz, really, because I'd been working on that music for quite a long time. So that was the first time that all of the material, like all the album, start to finish, was played, and that was in the Moor in Glasgow, which is a fantastic venue. And we just the nature of the project, we had quite a lot of guests there and musicians, so it was tight squeeze at times, but it was good to have all those amazing people there. And that was one of the main things for me in creating the album, was seeing all these individual really special talents bring their take on the music and put their own individual stamp on it to take it somewhere else. So that was one of the highlights for me, and especially having them all in the same room playing together, that was special. So yeah.
That's it too. And you can tell just by looking at the audience's faces, they're like, wow, what did I just hear? So if anything, if folks then want to get their hands on the album, and let's face it, they're going to have to, because It's kind of a, if you're a piping fan or a trad fan at all, you need to get a copy of Chris's album. Okay, I'll say that. But where can folks go and grab this then, Chris?
Yeah, so there's a few different places. Well, it's on my website at chrisgraymusic.com, and it's also available on Bandcamp and Apple Music. So, yeah.
All major platforms and all of that. So I think at this point we'll maybe play another short clip this time. But this one's called 8 Minutes in Chapal, if I pronounced that wrong. Tell us about this next one.
So this is a set of 3 polkas, this is a whistle set. So the first tune is like you said, there's the title track, and I was on a trip to Slovakia a few years ago, and it was actually with some of the crew in Inverary, and just the nature of our flights were a wee bit delayed coming back, but obviously one had a knock on to the other one.
Yeah.
So by the time we got into Schiphol, it was a tight squeeze to make the other one. Didn't think we were going to make that, but it looked like one of the guys in the band, I think it was Gus Sickard, said I think he clocked it. It was something like 8 minutes in the airport. So something like that, it was a very tight squeeze, but we made it. So that's the first tune. And the second tune is called Leesix, and that's named after a good friend of mine, Christina Leesick, who I spent time when I was in Sweden for 5 months a few years ago. So she's a Swedish fiddle player and singer. So we do some playing together as well. And the third tune is it's called The Last Jaffa Cake. Again, it's after another friend who was particularly fond of Jaffa cakes, and their sadness to see the last one in the packet. So that's for them.
I know the feeling well, Chris. Yeah. So yeah. Without further ado, here's the track itself. Chris, that's incredible. And you did mention about being a tight squeeze on stage. I noticed the whole string section and all there. Like that was quite packed on stage. Do you want to tell us about all the folks that were up there with you?
Yeah, so throughout the evening, there's a lot of guests that joined me. On the evening, we had Graham Mackenzie on fiddle, Innes Watson on guitar, Michael Biggins on keys, Duncan Lyle on bass, Mark Scobie on drums, and then also, of course, Mosin that we mentioned,
Yeah.
Ewan McPherson on mandolin, and then on the album, Graham Mackenzie recorded the string parts, but there was many layers on the album, so I wanted to try and replicate that live. So there were some additional players came in to play those parts. So we had Patsy Reed on violin, we had Shauna Aitken also on violin, and then we had Sarah Leonard playing viola and Alice Allen on cello. So amongst, I think I don't hope I've not forgotten anyone there. Yeah, everyone that was. There's one other person. So Cal McCrimmon joined me on pipes for a set as well,
Yes.
and he was also involved with producing the album with me. But yeah, each of those characters had all have very special careers themselves and very diverse influence. So, yeah, a bit of a
Definitely.
melting pot for it also.
I think so, and that's possibly the best description for the album as well, Chris. If you don't mind me saying so, you can tell that there's been so many influences, both on you and your music, but also on your presentation of it. Like as you say, there's many different layers to the music, so it's not something you'll get instantly on the first listen. I'll have to say, it takes I've been having it in the car CD player now for weeks. It's just a fantastic album. So yeah, I'll sing your praises, plug and promote. You need to get this album, folks. Okay, so there you go. Now, as well as that, you've also made it through to the semi-finals of the BBC Young Scots Trad Musician of the Year 2020, or 2021 even, I should say. But can you tell us about that whole process, Chris, then? How you actually make it through to the semis?
So earlier this year, the application process, submit your music, a wee bit about yourself, why you're passionate about traditional music and why you want to do that as a career. And then from there, 12 semi-finalists are chosen. And so it went ahead recently, and huge congratulations to the organizers for making that happen. I mean, albeit there was no audience. That was just the start of October, and it was at the BBC in Glasgow. So I mean, it was brilliant to just to be there and play. Considering everything that's going on, that's such a nice space and whatnot. So yeah.
It's fantastic to see you up there, Chris, if anything. And we mentioned it on the show before. We're like, wow, there's Chris. Yeah, brilliant. So we can't wait to see the results of all the recordings and stuff, and we'll be able to watch it on the telly like everyone else. Very much looking forward to that. So also, before I let you go, I have to talk about another incredible project that you've been involved in, the Fraser Shaw Remix Project. Can you tell us, first of all, what is this remix project?
So this was an initiative by the Fraser Shaw Trust, and so the trust was set up in memory of Fraser. So he tragically died a few years ago, and the trust does amazing work really in memory of Fraser. He was a piper, whistle player, and amazing composer himself. And he had the ambition that he wanted to release his own tune book. Sadly, his illness got in the way before that was possible to happen.
Yeah.
But years ago, many of his friends and also very well-known names on the folk music scene now got together and made this happen. So there's a beautiful album there of Fraser's music, and the idea was a few years on now to invite artists to come up with proposals to reimagine it. So basically take one of Fraser's tunes and put a completely different spin on it. So I was delighted and honoured to be a part of that. So I was one of 10 artists, and it was the videos and new arrangements that came out were really diverse. So you had, various musicians on the trad scene, but then also people out with that. So you had some DJ remixes and some, going into some different styles. But I mean, that showcases how flexible and these compositions are. So I did an arrangement for that where I was predominantly on keys, and then also laid down a few whistle parts, and I was joined by James Lindsay on bass, who's many know from the band
Braybrack, yeah.
And also Scott Mackay on drums. And just the nature of things just now, we recorded it from our homes, so we each did our parts separately. So we never met up and rehearsed as such. I put the arrangement together and then we just went for it. And I was delighted with how that came out. And it was a lot of fun to have the creative focus just now as well. So
that's it, yeah. So if anything, I think we can maybe squeeze in a quick clip of that just before we let you go. So this is what's Strings and Blowy Things, is that the title of it?
Yeah, so the tune that I chose to arrange was written by Fraser Shaw, actually for Cal McCrimmon and his wife Laura Beth. For those that don't know, they're both fantastic players of strings and Blowy things. Cal being a piper, whistle player, and Laura Beth also known mostly for playing mandolin. So that was a tune that was written for them. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Well, here is Strings and Blowy Things. Chris, that looks like so much fun that you guys had there. It's just, yeah. Was it fun putting it all together?
Yeah, it was absolutely. It was a different thing to what I've done previously, for sure. I was also I did the video editing for that as well, which is for a lot of us is a new skill, doing it in that kind of level. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting process. Never arranging a track and recording it without having met up with musicians at all. It's a different process, but it was fun to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Well, as us as music fans, we're more than happy to be able to tune in and watch it. So thank you for producing that. So, Chris, I've got some actual personal questions about yourself then. Could you tell us, first of all, who inspires you in your playing? Is there anyone out there in the piping scene, the trad scene, as you look to as thinking, wow, they're amazing?
I would say my musical influences are quite spread. I love so many different kinds of music. So, I mean, I listen to a lot of, actually, as well as trad, I listen to a lot of classical and jazz and a wee bit of everything, really. But I mean, I would undoubtedly, having spent such a significant time with the band with Inverary, I mean, being in there, that's definitely a big influence. And of course, Stuart there being like prolific. It's for many people, of course. But just from a young age, because I joined the band when I was 15, so it's been quite a long time there. So it's one influence. And on the traditional music scene, there's so many people creating brilliant music. It's hard to name one or two. There's a lot of different things going on there that I really enjoy. And
that's it. So you just kind of you drink it all in, kind of really, Chris, from all angles, really. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
So many people doing incredible things. Really, it's amazing.
Yeah. No, that's it. And if anything, then that brings me up to my next question, which is probably a big Rab Show staple. Is what has been your most memorable moment in playing music? Has there been any one standout moment that you think, whoa, that's kind of awesome?
Geez, there's been a few special moments, so it's quite hard to pick one. Just I kind of see each moment as like a very unique kind of experience in itself. So they're all very different. For me, for a personal point of view, the launch at the start of the year, it's definitely up there for me because it's to play a full show of entirely your own music was a special thing for me, and to share it with those people. But I mean, over the last few years, I've been very fortunate to have a lot of different opportunities to travel and would meet different people, and so there's so many kind of different interactions there that I could mention. Yeah.
That's it.
Hard one to answer.
It's a difficult question, definitely. Yeah. And then that possibly brings me on to another one that always has everyone cringing is, have you got a most embarrassing moment through playing?
Oh.
Any moment that has you going, oh no, that was terrible.
I'm sure there must be one or two.
You can just see the comments coming in now. Oh, Chris, do you not remember this?
Oh. No, I can't. They're not coming to me right now. Meant to be a couple.
No worries. Well, if anything, then before I let you go, there are some big Rab Show staples that we ask every guest that comes on. Chris Gray, what is your favorite cheese?
My favorite cheese. I love halloumi, actually.
Ooh.
Putting that in some pasta or different things.
Yeah, you're talking. That's a good one. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
I do like it, actually. If I was to order a pizza, pizza's it wouldn't be my first choice, but I don't mind it, actually.
There you go. Yeah, I won't get rid of it. That's interesting. So Well, if anything, then I think well, the last question, this came from one of the guys in the Big Rab Show team, actually says, can you drive a tractor? Do you know how to drive a tractor? I don't know where that come from.
I'm curious who asked that as well, and the reasoning. I've never tried.
No.
Yeah, like to
So,
try sometime.
I don't know. I don't know where that inspiration from that question comes from, but there you go. So, Chris, if anything, man, thank you so much for taking time to chat to us here on the Rab Show. We really appreciate it, and thank you for all of the amazing music you've been producing. It's been incredible. So, do you want to remind folks again just where to go and grab a copy of this album and to check out all about your online teaching and everything that you're at?
Yeah, so well, I've got various kind of online platforms, but my website is chrisgraymusic.com. But then I'm on, all the obvious ones: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
But the album, this is the album here.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
That's everything there, and you can see all this beautiful artwork here. Yeah, so it's on my site. But my album and teaching, everything's on my website, and also music on Bandcamp and Apple Music. So
All of that, exactly.
yeah.
Well, Chris, if anything, man, again, thank you for the amazing tunes, man. Keep them coming. And yeah, we're more than keen to hear more new releases from yourself in the future. Very excited.
Yeah.
So, if anything, then, what does the future hold for yourself then in the near future? Obviously, you have the Trad Awards coming up, Scots Trad Awards for your album. You also have the BBC Awards coming up as well. What else is there for you in the future?
Well, I mean, at the moment, well, I think like many people, we're just patiently waiting until it's possible to kind of just to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So my ambition was to be out playing more, especially with this new music. I'm always writing stuff and arranging new music, so that's the thing, just having lots of new opportunities to play and with different people and recording and all that sort of thing. And it's just I enjoy the eclectic mix of doing these different things. But I mean, for the meantime, I think it's just sitting tight and just doing all the right things at the moment. Just like thinking of others that are going through difficult times right now, and everyone that's just But yeah, musically, hopefully we can get stuck into things again soon.
That's it, indeed.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if I love hearing from people as well. So if anyone would like to ask anything about my music or get in touch with anything, delighted to hear from anyone. So
there you go. Indeed. Well, Chris, again, thank you so much for taking time to chat to us. And yeah, I'll wish you all the very best for the future. Stay in touch.
Thanks very much. Pleasure.
Thanks.